Hello and welcome to New Reviewer Training Video 2. In this video we will share more information about the criteria that we are looking for when reviewing, go over the scoring rubrics as well as horns and halos, and share some additional information. To start, I'll share a bit about scholarships in general. There are many different ways to award scholarships. Some scholarship providers are needs-based and award their scholarships to students with the highest financial need. Other scholarships don't consider finances at all and instead may use the highest GPA or SAT score. We've also met scholarship providers that simply prefer a lottery system where recipients are chosen at random. The Pedrosi Board of Directors and Scholarship Committee continue to discuss how scholarships are awarded. We are a merit-based scholarship, so our scholarships are not restricted by financial need. Instead, you'll be evaluating the applications and considering responses to prompts, their involvement in activities beyond the classroom, as well as their academic record. In addition, if a student has a financial need, they will be awarded a higher scholarship amount. We ask those students to submit information about their FAFSA, financial aid summaries, so that we understand their additional financial need. And again, if those students are awarded, they are given an increased scholarship amount. The Scholarship Committee has continued to ask the question each year, what is the goal of a Pedrosi Scholarship? Who are we supporting? In the last few years, we've developed this graphic with the goal of answering these questions. Scholarships will be awarded to students to acknowledge their past achievements and recognize their future potential. The scholarships will make a difference to the scholarship recipients' educational journeys. In the future, recipients envision themselves using their education to positively impact others. There are some expanded meanings of each of these as shown to the right side of the graphic. Of course, we will have these ideas of what a Pedrosi Scholar looks like, but everyone is different and unique, and we are not expecting all students who receive a scholarship to have all or even most of these qualities. We used to do our evaluation process with rubrics that would score each individual question, and we this year, for the first time, are piloting a new scoring method where we have developed rubrics based on these Pedrosi Scholar characteristics. So we will look a bit more at that and show you what that means. And again, just on as all applicants are unique, our reviewers come to this process with their own backgrounds, passions, interests, personalities, and everything that makes them unique. Your idea of a good student might be different than mine. With all this in mind, we've created rubrics that help look at applications in a more objective way. This year, we're using a new rubric to score applications designed to find and score applicants based on their demonstration of Pedrosi Scholar characteristics. We have identified 8 Pedrosi Scholar characteristics and created scoring definitions from 0 to 3 for each characteristic. The rubric is new and being used for the first time this year, so if you come up with suggestions to improve it, please feel free to take note and share with me. So this is our rubric for Pedrosi Scholar characteristic number 1, which is maximizes learning opportunities. And then we have scoring breakdown for 0 score, not evident. Number 1 score would be somewhat evident, 2 evident, and 3 significantly evident, with some explanation of what that means underneath. So not evident, student does not seek out or create learning opportunities. Student does not engage with resources or activities to promote learning. Student offers no reflection on personal or team experiences. Somewhat evident, student occasionally identifies with learning opportunities, engages with some resources or activities, offers some reflection, whereas at 2, a student regularly seeks out and creates meaningful learning opportunities, actively engages with a variety of resources. Significantly evident, a 3, score of a 3, would be the student consistently maximizes learning opportunities by creating an enriching environment for self and others. Student proactively seeks diverse resources and activities to foster deep learning. Student engages in thoughtful reflection, consistently applying insights to enhance future learning and may encourage others to do the same. So again, these are guidelines to think about as you're moving through your scoring, trying to help narrow down what each individual score would look like as you consider if a student has maximized their learning opportunities. Pedrosi Scholar characteristic 2 and 3 are listed on this page. 2 is participates in personally meaningful activities outside of the classroom. 3 demonstrates leadership, formally or informally. You can see under number 3, some examples include, but not limited to, if they were a team captain, if they play a leadership role at home. That's important to us. We don't want it to be overlooked. If a student doesn't take on, a leadership role at school or doesn't display to us that they've taken on a leadership role at a school activity, it's still important if those students are participating in that at home. Again, a role in leadership or student government, leadership role in a committee or club. All of those are examples of a way a student might show us leadership, and then breakdowns again from 0 to 3 of what that might look like. Next page would be 4 and 5. Number 4 being exhibit self-awareness and a growth mindset. Number 5, plans for the future for college and or career. And we wanted to note there as well that starting college with an undeclared major is acceptable if the applicant articulates plans or goals for how their field of study or career will be determined. So they don't have to know going into their 4-year program exactly what they want to do, what their major might be, but we do want them to talk a bit about what they're interested in, what direction they think they might be headed. As well, number 6 and 7, demonstrate resilience to overcome challenges. Again, examples there of what that might mean. Complications in family life, identify learning disability, personal challenges like a stutter or extreme shyness. If that student has conveyed to us in their application responses that they've demonstrated resilience to overcome challenges. That is what that question is examining. Number 7, faces barriers to education or training, and the scholarship will make a difference. Examples again include, but not limited to, socioeconomic barriers, the first in their family to attain college and career readiness. And then we'll look at our final characteristic. Number 8, envisions themselves or has already begun helping others and or paying it forward, creating a positive ripple effect in their community. So again, that's number 8, how we'll be evaluating students. Before we jump into the demo site and score a sample application, I want to tell you a bit about horns and halos. We encourage you to be aware of your horns and halos when reviewing. We've borrowed this term from another scholarship provider, but essentially we're asking you to have some self-awareness and consider if you're judging an applicant based on what they're sharing in their application or by what you know and assume about something they've shared in an application. For example, maybe it was a club when you were in school that didn't seem like a serious club, and they didn't invest that much time or energy. Let's say a book club, and maybe they only read one book a semester, but didn't commit much time or effort into the club. So if I were to see an applicant say they were in a book club or they were a book club president, for instance, I may think that it wasn't that much work. It was really easy. They're just trying to make it sound like they had this important role, and I may give them a lower score. When in reality, things have probably changed and maybe were worthy of a high score. So I should not let what I know and assume from my experiences influence what a student has shared with us. Hopefully that makes sense. So that would be an example of a horn. On the other hand, we also want our reviewers, to be mindful of halos, where we might give something a really positive light based on an experience that we've had. So let's try and really pay attention to what the students share with us. Also, something we like to call attention to at the beginning of each review process. It's our goal for the review process to be as fair for all students as possible. We'll touch more on unconscious bias in our January reviewer training refresh, but just kind of in the back of your mind, unconscious bias is an implicit attitude, action, assumption, or judgment that is controlled by an automatic evaluation. Such biases are part of the human condition. It's natural, largely unavoidable, and occurs without a person's awareness or control. Everyone has unconscious biases, including people trained for objectivity, such as scientists. So it's just something we try and call awareness to, because awareness of this can help us, be a bit better, do a bit better, and try and take a step back. Another reminder, be thoughtful about your environment of scoring. If you are really tired, you've had a really long, bad day, you might not review things quite as positively as if you had woken up and had a really great night's sleep and were ready and refreshed. So try and be mindful and review when you're in the right headspace to do so. We ask that you recuse yourself if ever you are in a situation where you might unfairly judge. Let's say you work at the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory in a particular field, and you are reading that a student is going to be an intern at the lab and or in that particular field. That could be an opportunity where you might see that student a little bit differently than somebody else. And so we just ask that you recuse yourself. If ever you have a question about it, it's always just better to let somebody else look at that application. There's an option at the very bottom of the application to click recuse, and that's no problem. We'll just assign the application to somebody else. So just bear that in mind. Another reminder that if there's a wide discrepancy of scores, those applications will be sent for additional reviews. So again, every application will be reviewed at least 3 times, but if the scores, have a wide discrepancy, we'll make sure we send it until we find some alignment. Also, if you read about any abuse or suspected abuse, please share those with us. Oftentimes we find that the school district knows about these examples and issues already, but we always want to make sure that we take the appropriate steps and make sure students are safe. Again, we try and review applications as well before they are sent to reviewers, but we can't always read every prompt in every application. So in case we have missed that, please do bring it to our attention. So the application review process is a confidential one. So as you are reading through applications, we ask that you limit discussions, make sure that you are mindful of your computer screen if you happen to be doing any reviews in a public setting, making sure that people behind you are not able to read the student's private information on the screen. Some people have also printed applications to take with them so they could review while traveling, which we've allowed. We just ask that you make sure that you delete them if you've downloaded it and or shred it if you've printed it. Again, making sure that we're maintaining confidentiality. Please let me know if you have any questions about that. That is the end of this video. In our next short video, we will jump into the demo site so that you can see what that looks like, and we can score a sample application together. And after that, you'll have everything you need. I will be able to assign you your sample applications to review on your own at that point. So thank you so much.